Okay, so we're going to end today with this baseball passage that you had picked out. And really what we're going to focus on is connecting to your prior knowledge or just making connections to what you already know. So, good readers make connections between what they read in a story and what they already know about something. So you kind of know a little bit about baseball just because you play fast pitch softball, right? So really quick, on the cover, I see that this guy is swinging and hitting a ball. Looks like he has really good form. I am guessing that he either missed the ball because the ball's not in the picture, or he already swung and it's on its way out and he's ready to start running the bases.
Or struck out.
Because
it looks like he's looking towards a different base and not keeping his eye on the ball. But it also looks like he already swung at it.
That's true. So maybe he's looking down because the ball went past him and he didn't hit it. That could be. Because a lot of times batters will kind of follow the ball, right? Or see where it goes. So that's a good connection too. That's awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to kind of partner or share read this story, but I'll read a page, you can read a page, and we'll kind of share or stop and talk about it and see if we can make any connections with that. So, all right. Okay, so really quick, I noticed that there's a picture. It says, "Why is baseball known as the great American pastime? Is this an accurate nickname or why?" Do you know what pastime means?
Future or in the past.
Okay.
Like what happened before.
Okay. Known as a great American pastime means it's kind of a lot of people enjoy baseball. Would you say that's an accurate nickname? Do a lot of people enjoy baseball? Why would you say yeah?
Well, during baseball season, whenever I go somewhere, most people are watching baseball.
Yeah? In person or on TV or both? Or
on TV.
On TV, yeah. Perfect. Okay. So on this next page, you can kind of see there's words to know. So we're going to come across the word barrier. We're going to come across the word coveted, discrimination, fielding, foul, inducted, penance, perseverance, statistic, strike, umpire, and vying. Do any of those stand out as words that you do know? Like which ones do you know?
Well, for softball, fielding, foul, strike, and umpire. Fielding would be like outfielding, like playing first base, second, third, but
Perfect.
Outfield, like left, right, and center. And then foul is when you hit the ball, but it doesn't go between the white lines, so that's called a foul. And then strike is where you either try to hit it and you miss it, or they pitch it and maybe it's kind of fast and you don't swing at it. It could be a strike or a ball. And then umpire is the person who calls the strikes, the safes, the outs. So.
Perfect. Yeah. Do any of these words look unfamiliar to you that you haven't seen? Which ones? Coveted?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Vying? Yep. Okay. So we'll come across them in our text, and then hopefully that'll increase your knowledge about baseball. So, okay. So we have the table of contents. You can kind of see that this baseball book is broken into different chapters. Yeah. So the first one we're going to look at is what is baseball. Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll start.
You'll start. Awesome.
What is baseball? Long before the United States existed. The game we recognize today as baseball was shaped by the early English settlers who brought differing versions of the game to the British colonies. Stool ball, trap ball, and rounders were all played in 18th century America, and all of these games involved batting, throwing, running, and making quick decisions. In 1845, nearly 70 years after the United States declared its independence from the British, a club called the Knickerbockers met in New York City. The baseball regulations they created became the foundation for the game millions of people around the world enjoy today. Artist George H. Hastings' work shows spectaculars watching the Boston Baseball Club, also called the Boston Beaners, at play in the 1880s.
Okay, so have you ever heard of the stool ball, trap ball, rounders? Have you ever heard of those games? No. So this is kind of building up the background and the history of it. I've never heard of Knickerbockers though either.
Neither.
But I would agree that millions of people around the world enjoy baseball today. I mean, I even can think of lots of people I know, or we even used to have season tickets for baseball because it's such a big, fun sport to watch. Have you ever heard of like English settlers coming to British colonies in history? Yep.
And social studies.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll read this one. In North America, there are currently 30 Major League Baseball MLB teams vying to win the coveted North American Championship, the World Series. There are 240 minor league teams as well. Minor leagues offer players the chance to hone their skills, and a small percentage make it to the major leagues. So right there, I know I can stop. I've heard of the World Series. It's always at the end of the baseball season. Everyone goes to play. What do you think vying then means? They're vying to win.
Kind of like fighting, hoping.
The coveted North American Championship, the World Series. Is the World Series kind of a big deal? Absolutely. Yep. Anyone that wants to go into the Major League Baseball league, are they able to? Is anyone able to go into the MLB?
No, just Major League Baseball players.
Yeah, and you have to be super good to make it that big, right?
And minor league is still really good, but if you're better than everyone else, you can get pushed up to Major League.
All right. Today, the great American pastime is played globally in over 100 countries with millions of fans. International baseball competition is governed by the World Baseball Softball Confederation, which organizes the World Baseball Classic. This international tournament is played every 4 years and was created to promote baseball around the world. For youth players, Little League is extremely popular, with about 2.4 million players in over 100 countries. The Little League World Series has been held every year since 1947. Did you know that they had a Little League World Series? I know you just talked about minor league, but do you know that they had another World Series too?
No.
With 2.4 million players.
Yeah, some people wear baseball shirts to school and like theirs that the team that they play on, and it says like Little League.
Does it? That's a lot of people playing baseball, isn't it? Yeah. Have you ever heard of the World Baseball Classic since you play for softball? World Baseball Softball Confederation. They organize the World Baseball Classic. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
That would be pretty cool, though. They played every 4 years. Yeah. That would be cool. And look at this map. There's blue countries that play baseball.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? It's a major sport in many countries, including Canada, the United States, Argentina, South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. So it's all over. Not a whole lot in Africa. But, all right, you're up.
The rules of the game. Baseball games have two opposing teams consisting of 9 players on each team. The team takes turns playing offense, batting, and base running, and defense, pitching, and fielding. The pitcher throws the ball to a catcher on his or her team. His or her team. And when a batter from the other team swings the bat and hits the ball, he or she runs counterclockwise around the bases to home plate, touching each base in order. And then a baseball infield is sometimes called a diamond because the shape of the layout of the bases.
So what did you just read?
The rules of the game.
Yep. And do you have any connections? Like, what would you say is your favorite position when you play defense or offense?
I like playing. I like doing offense, batting, and base running because usually when I hit it, I can hit it pretty far, and they try to throw it, but then I just keep going.
Yeah. That's awesome. What do you do in fielding?
I usually play second.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Oh, this is a big one. All right. If a batter doesn't swing the ball and is within the strike zone or swings and misses, the ball is declared a strike by the umpire. Have you ever had a strike? I think we all have. I have too. A batter with less than 2 strikes is also issued a strike if he or she hits a foul ball. The ball or any ball hit into foul territory. After 3 strikes, the batter is out. If a pitch is outside the strike zone and the batter doesn't swing, it's declared a ball. If a pitcher pitches 4 balls, the batter walks to the first base. Is that the same in fast pitch?
Yeah, except for if you get 3 strikes and the catcher drops it, then you get to run.
Oh, really?
That's what we do for softball. Not be. It's probably not the same for baseball though.
Yeah. Do you get 4 balls too?
Yeah.
Okay. So if a player hits the ball beyond the outfield or runs all the way to home base right after hitting the ball, it's a home run. If not, the base runner can remain safely on one of the bases until a teammate hits a ball, at which point the runner can sprint to the next base. Only one runner may occupy a base. Each runner who touches home plate scores 1 run. The team with the most runs wins the game.
Or with the most outs.
They win by having the most outs?
Well, no, but whoever gets for softball, if you can either get 3 outs or 5 runs, and you get have however many points for whatever one.
That's interesting. All right. I did not know that. A batter hits the ball and runs toward first base. In the field, players scramble to try to catch a fly ball or field a ground ball to stop the runner from advancing around the bases. If the ball is caught without touching the ground, the batter is out. If the ball touches the ground first, the ball is fielded and the defensive team works together to get it to a base player who can force out a runner by tagging or touching the runner or the base he or she is required to advance to. When the team at bat gets 3 outs, the team switch positions. Is that the same for softball? 3 outs, and then you switch? I wonder if they're going to talk about stealing. That's one connection that I can make is that when I went to your game, I didn't realize that in softball you can steal bases just like baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool experience for me because I didn't know that. So, all right.
There are 9 innings in a baseball game. 1 inning consists of each team playing once in the field and once at bat. The visiting team always bats first, and the home team bats second. If the score is tied at the end of 9 innings, extra innings are played until there is a winner. Baseball relies on many statistics to evaluate the success of its players. A pitcher's earned run average ERA is calculated by dividing the number of runs the pitcher has allowed by the total number of innings pitched. This number is multiplied by 9 and the number of innings in a regular baseball game to get the average. Important stats for batters are the batting average, or AVG, and runs batted in, or RBI. The batting average is determined by comparing the batter's number of hits to his or her total times at bat. The RBI tells how many runners have scored based on the batter's success at the plate.
Okay, so really, based on that page, can you make any connections or relate to that page at all?
Well,
Like, do you have 9 innings or?
we usually have a time, like we'll either play for, one game is usually like 65 minutes, and if we're tied at that time, we play more innings and stuff, so kind of like that, but not really.
So there's not a set number of innings you have to play for softball. Okay.
Just when we run out of time.
Does anyone keep statistics for your teams? Like, does anyone keep a record book of how your team does and how each batter
Yeah.
does? And
Usually one of the parents of one of the girls on our team usually does. So.
Gotcha. And there's a picture of a runner successfully sliding into home base. Have you ever had to slide into home? And are you safe most of the time or out?
I've never got out on home.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. American baseball, a look back. Due to racial discrimination in the United States in the 19th and 20th centuries, there were once different leagues for African American players. From 1890 to 1947, Major League Baseball was off limits to African Americans and Latinos, but discrimination didn't prevent them from playing. As early as 1870, African American teams, known as the Negro Leagues, had developed. These leagues included some of the most talented players in the game. Over time, baseball evolved, the color barrier crumbled, and the Negro Leagues faded away. I remember in 5th grade, I had to do a baseball, or I had to choose an influential person, and I chose Satchel Paige, and he was an African American baseball player. But
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Women have never been allowed to participate in Major League game, but they have contributed